Yeah, the news media everywhere around the world has fun with what Trump is doing every day because it's a crack up. But you got to keep in mind that Trump is, just like an actor. He's he's being paid very well to do all these antics. Okay, he's kind of like if there were four Stooges, he would be the fourth one. And so the thing is, and that's not a put down. And so people see it differently, but whatever. But it's all an act. And I heard about this thing with the Queen. Ava brought this stuff up. I don't look at the news, okay? I don't pay attention to any of it. I just focus on this, and it's whatever. But Ava brings these things up, or someone else will, and we kind of chuckle about it. But I see it as just a setup. It's all a setup. Again, the media is controlled by the cabal. They're controlled by the reptilians, and so they create the sensationalism so that people, again, they're diverted into ideas that really mean nothing. Okay, so whether he shook hands, bowed, or whatever. For me, I wouldn't even show up. But the thing is, who is the queen? She's a reptilian, and she eats children. So the thing is that Trump is playing a role. Everything he does is a role, and see, he's doing it. He's exaggerating everything that he does, and some people like it if he's making the money, etc. Others don't because he's doing this or that. And I see it as a setup also. The things that he's doing, he's radically doing things. You look at Obama, how he played the role of a gentleman, and his man wife playing the role too, how she does, Michael, Michelle, whatever she is. It was fine, whatever. I don't care. This is role playing here. And it's all deception to the masses. And I see things on Facebook. Oh, did you think that Obama was a better president? This man created 7 wars and destroyed women and children on a daily basis. Yeah, but he really looked good to the American public, didn't he? You decide, but it's not. I'm not deciding this. Each person does what they do, and this is why I don't pay attention to a lot of this nonsense, because it's a setup. I see what Trump is doing as a setup to the next person. So in other words, they'll choose Hillary or whoever else is running, even Michelle, etc., running for the next one. And see, again, they're going to do like the Obama thing. People saw through Clinton eventually, and there's a lot more to that than they even saw, and Bush and all this stuff, the 9/11 instigator and all these people. I'm just being real here. And so, when Obama came along, and he was nurtured for over 30 years since he was a youngster to do this. They trained him very well to take on this role, and to where he could do the antics and talk the talk and stand up, you see. But of course, he's got the Secret Service, the military, and the galactic reptilians, the Klingons, in back of him. So he probably feels pretty good in saying anything up there. Okay, so we're just getting a little more real here instead of the surfacey world that we paint this little picture of. There's a lot more going on here. And so he seemed to be, at the time, I remember I said they purposely panned the audience. And you got people, white people, especially black people, crying. It's like, oh my gosh, Obama, he's going to be our savior. He's talking about change and hope, and this man, and he made it look good. He made all his destruction look really good. And this is what people are accepting and agreeing to. And the hope, yeah, people will keep hope, and they always run on hope. And change, well, people got the change they didn't want. Okay? First thing was the big bailout, where the corporation, the government corporation, the U.S. government corporation stole other companies because they were set up with derivatives previously. So again, and so now we come into the Trump age, okay, because people wanted something different, and a lot of people didn't like Hillary. But again, there's no such thing as elections. They decide, the controllers, the elites, they decide who's going to be the next one. It's not a matter of who votes for what. Nobody has to vote. They're going to bring this person up here. Anyhow, this is how it is. This is human farming. And so these antics that he's doing and with the Queen and stuff, this gets a lot of press in the world, doesn't it? Look at the press that it gets. The end result is of all the things, of all these presidents and what they've done, these so-called presidents and the Congress and all this stuff since they've been created here, where's the benefit of anything that they've done? Oh, maybe they've given a little to the poor and they've done this or whatever they've created, Greenpeace or whatever. But these are just agencies they've created. Before that, any of this was created, before there was the White House and all that, gee, wasn't the land, the air, the sea, everything, the birds, the animals, weren't they a lot better? Now we're a lot worse, but everybody still looks towards these antics. That's all they are. It's a stage play. And so, again, they just use all these terms because people are emotionally caught up in these things. And so many people are deceived by the Queen, yet they're waking up. And this is why they keep this deception going. They keep pushing it out there, like the marriages of the princes and all these things. They keep pushing this out there. Oh, they're going to have a baby and whatever. Yeah, they're all reptilian. They're going to have a little baby. That's why they got rid of Diana, because she was more so a real person, you might say. And all of a sudden she started to see what they were doing as they were shape-shifting. And all of a sudden, they couldn't have her around anymore. So they set up the car accident is what they did. Yeah, so they, push comes to shove, they get rid of them. And it always makes it look like an accident or oops, that happened. Kind of like after the Kennedy assassination that they had set up to get rid of Kennedy because he wanted to do certain things in the United States and they didn't want it. Well, over 100 people suddenly died and got in accidents, heart attacks, whatever after that. Of course, that wasn't shown in the Warren report. But again, this is a world of deception. And you can bet your bottom dollar that you're going to be deceived if you think that it's something, that's essential or is accurate, simply because the world is a stage and they got most people hooked still. And, even people that are into spiritual and transcendental things and supposedly they have some kind of awareness, they still don't see through it. I know a very good psychic lady. I've known her for many years. And she can see things really good, can see the boys. I introduced the boys to her, Reva Zara and the boys, and she loves them. And Paul even appeared to her. But she really liked Obama. And she don't want to look there. She just wants to see the surface world. And anytime I mentioned something political, boy, she would just, she was like a bee with a stinger ready. And so I had to tippy-toe around these things. I never mentioned them. So again, it's interesting, etc. And I'm not for or against it. People make choices. I don't care what they do. I'm doing what I'm doing here, but this is a show. But if you want to think it's different, you have that right to think whatever you want. It's not about me deciding for others. It's all a show here. And realistically, look at the history from George Washington. What is the benefit that these people have created? And today we have, they maybe create housing and food for people. But really, like the UN thing, I wrote 2 groups on the UN. And really, people think, the UN is doing this or that. It's whatever. They created these agencies to control others. Yeah, the UN maybe can create housing for people or the Africans or whatever. But they don't teach them how to be free. They teach them how to be dependent upon the system, so they become beggars. You see, at first they give them the new little house or new little box, and eventually as it starts eroding and falling apart, these people become dependent upon the system and they become beggars. And it's like all of a sudden the system goes, well, we don't have any more money to support you. We're having difficulty. These are the people creating the fake money. Okay, they're the ones saying that, hey, we're running out of money here with the agency. Hey, they create it out of nothing. And today it's computer money. And so, again, it's all set up.